scenes are brother and sisters, but also it's like any other coworker. Some coworkers you don't like it more than other ones, so you get into arguments or you get into disagreements. That's part of work. It's going,
and the one damaging aspect is you can say it's fake all you want, especially like you said when you and I were kids. Fake all you want without being able to actually explain to kids what they're actually trying to accomplish. It does no good. At that point, they just kind of feel like you're dogging something that they like. A good example of that is like, my son likes a couple cartoons that I don't like. It happens. It is what it is. I've shown him new cartoons or older cartoons, and he likes some of the stuff I like, which unrelated. He's now likes The Simpsons. But there's other stuff they don't like, and I just say, if he tries to show me, I'm like, oh, that looks cool, blah blah blah, and leave it alone. His mom, on the other hand, will just say, I'm not watching that. I don't like that. And that's the way she approaches it. To me, that's a negative reflection of something the kid likes. When I was a kid and people were like, oh, wrestling's fake, whatever, it's like, well, I like it. How's it fake? Oh, do you think they'll be in there in boots and kick each other? Maybe. What, you're trying to get me at 9 years old to use your logic? That doesn't apply. Whereas when my younger brother, my half brother, got into it, and he was really excited about things like that, I was trying to show him how they did the moves. So I showed him different things. We talked about the Randy Orton's RKO. He goes, well, how did he do the RKO? And I said, well, if you grab my head and I grab your side, I'm going to go with you. So I showed him how that happens. And I showed him how they do the suplexes, not really the punches, but the like other moves and things like that. I took time to make sure he understood, yes, it's fake. Yes, they're trying to not hurt each other. But I showed him the actual athleticism and the coordination in it to show him what they actually do. That way I'm not treating him like an idiot. I mean, another kind of relative in the same way is figure skating. People don't really like figure skating. Whether you watch it or not, which I don't, whether you watch it or not, they have to be able to hold each other up and be coordinated, not to cut off each other's fingers.
Oh yeah,
with the ice skates. So it's kind of in a similar realm.
And I, for one, would never try to do figure skating. Not because it's that, because it's more or less it's something that. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not a very skater on period, especially on the ice. So like, I would never try to do that because I know it would hurt somebody, and it's I'd be a little freaked out with trying to do that. So that's another thing. It's just it's a lot of people think, huh?
What I was gonna say is the hits. I used to listen to a radio station here locally in the morning, and they had someone in there that at the same time that wasn't a wrestling fan, but they also had the Big Show in there because Big Show was this was a few years ago. I think Raw was coming to town, and Big Show was doing his media runs for it.
Yeah.
And the other guy's like, man, you guys don't really hit each other. He goes, no, we do. We just try to make sure it doesn't hurt. And he goes, but how bad can it hurt? He goes, oh, it depends on how hard you get hit. He goes, do you think you could hurt me? He goes, do you want me to? The guy's like, I think I could take the hit just fine. So Big Show does a Big Show slap, and you hear, oh, son of a bitch! And he goes, did that hurt? He goes, yes! He goes, okay, well, I'll let you know. There's some people I do shows with that take 5 of those a night. He goes, oh, no more. That's just one person, if you will.
Oh, yeah. But absolutely. It's if you think it's fake, then hop in the ring and do it then. That's why it's kind of also say to some people, it's like, okay, if you think it's fake, why don't you go find an event and then sign up for it? Not that they really, they have to go to school to do it, but like you want to hop in the ring, don't call yourself a wrestler because you have to pay your dues to get to that title, but you're not only just taking, like I said, you're taking the bumps, you're taking all the bruises and broken bones, concussions, etc. Of course, as I said before, is traveling and on that as well. When I was younger, my dad, he tried to talk me the same thing. It's all put on. It's all show. I'm like, I didn't listen to that. I was like, it's cool. It's real. These guys, it's crazy. These guys really hurt each other. And I learned eventually, some years later, but it's just where you take the fun out of it sometimes where you try and explain. My nephew, he's 8, so I think when he was 7. Yeah, he's 7. It was during the time frame that Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio had their feud, and they had that eye for an eye match. So my nephew, he was watching one night with me at my house, and this must have been
that was last October because that was the horror night at Extreme Rules.
Yeah, so it was he was 7 at the time, and I had taped or DVR'd Raw, so we watched together when he was spending the night, and I didn't think they were going to show that footage again, but they did. And he saw Rey Mysterio's eye popped out. It scared him. I turned it off, and I'm like, it lets you know that's not everybody's eye. It's a theatrical act. It's like with that TV shows you watch and the King Kong stuff. It's all an act. It's there. His eye's not really popped out. It's just part of it. But so that's the theatrical side. That's where you call it the fake stuff. But that's the same thing they do in Hollywood.
Yeah, and I think you said King Kong. We're
talking about King Kong and Godzilla yesterday at dinner time, so that just kind of just popped in my mind.
Oh, okay, because that's about to be released on it. That's about to be released on HBO in a few days.
Yeah, he said something about there was a new movie coming out.
Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah, he's like, finally, I've been waiting to see that movie. I wonder the new movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how people are going to take that being fake. That really a giant gorilla is not going to fight a radioactive lizard.
Yeah. So that's real, man. Oh yeah, that's definitely real stuff, ain't that? Yeah.
Well,
but yeah.
What I will say relative to that is I've been enjoying the memes of a gorilla sitting down in front of people. He's like, "Look, guys, I'm going to try my best, but it's a radioactive dinosaur."
Oh, I don't think I've seen that yet. I don't know.
I've been seeing it float around for a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Absolutely, but it's for y'all out there that are listening that don't watch wrestling, put the ignorance to rest. Watch this show or learn about wrestling a little bit. And then get into it. But I know everybody has their own opinion. They're going to have their taste buds. Just, I understand that. And, there's certain sports I don't watch because I was not into it. I don't watch swimming or figure skating, but nothing, that's up to you if you want to watch it. But I honestly, with the MMA and like boxing, I'm not into it. I mean, it's okay. I respect those athletes. I watch MMA. I've watched it a few times. I watched boxing a couple times. The big reason why I'm not into it is just what I've seen is that there's no storytelling. I mean, real storytelling. It's like wrestling. You have stories, you have feuds, we have rivals. Hey, you're going to feud with this guy for a few months, and then you're going to move on to the next person. Same thing with the girl. And that's where you're telling a story. It's telling a story inside the ring with ring psychology, as well as you're building up a story. Some stories ain't as good as others, obviously. That's, I don't see that really. I mean, I don't know a lot about boxing as far as I haven't really watched it much. And same thing in MMA, but there's not that story build up, what I see of it, what I accept of it. So that's why it's just, you don't have that ring psychology in there. So that's why it's just not the biggest thrill to me. But
yeah, and there's
into it.
Yeah, and that's kind of where you and I disagree. I do like a little MMA, but I get more intrigued with the MMA and the what's the best way to phrase this? And watching them try to figure out ways to get the other opponent to either submit or knock out. I don't watch a lot of MMA because I'm just not that familiar with it, and it's weird because with wrestling, like, okay, someone might win or lose, but they usually have something involved in the script that makes you want to go back and watch it. Whereas MMA, there's not really that in there unless you want to see the finishing of the fight or something like that. As for storytelling, one of the things that UFC has been pushing a lot more of, especially in the recent years, and I only know this because, like I said, I listen to the Raven Effect podcast, and Raven's a big MMA fan. And he's talking about how like they'll amp up the drama leading up to a fight to try and get the intrigue. He goes, all Dana White is a shoot wrestling promoter. He goes, it's not a TV show like what we did, but because he has the fights, but he's doing the same thing. He's just doing the same thing that Vince McMahon does.
I don't watch enough to really to guess to dislike a lot of people. So I don't watch. I don't think they don't watch wrestling. So it's kind of, I guess you say there is a story build up. That's my ignorance of not watching it. But when I got familiar with a little bit of boxing, a little bit, I know some people think it's crazy or whatever way they feel. But as watching Rocky movies, I seen the build up when they did the press conference. That's where I seen that, there's a story there. And I'm not saying they don't do these story. I mean by story as like storylines. But then I know there's like, trash talk and so forth, so on. That's cool when they have a story that's, hey, these two guys are going to have a fight next month. Yeah, they start doing trash talk and so forth. That's cool. That builds up a little something. That's cool. That's what I get intrigued by is anticipation. But I guess there's something with boxing and MMA. I just has a different to me it has a different fan effect on your viewers than it does with wrestling. It really does. I mean, they expect two guys or two girls to go in there and beat the hell out of each other for real. I mean, they literally are not going to hold anything back. They're not planning anything. They're not planning spots. They're trying to hurt each other. That's what I mean by that. And that's still where wrestling, they know they're going to have a hell of a match. They're going to get hurt. They're going to be, beat up. But they're going there playing their spots, and there's already a winner decided, so forth. It kind of takes the fun out of some people, but to me, it doesn't. But, that's my MMA boxing feeling about that.
And one of the things that I kind of appreciate in the wrestling field is we'll use pay-per-views for example, or even against even boxing. There have been plenty of people that I saw upset on social media when there would be a boxing match or an MMA match that might not go more than 3 minutes because that's the person that they're up against happened to be that good. Whereas you're kind of guaranteeing, if you buy a pay-per-view from a wrestling organization, you're going to get full 3 hours of content. Whereas maybe with MMA or boxing, you might get to maybe 2 hours or 2.5 hours, if that, depending on the card. It's just more of that guarantee of return of investment. Now, there's been plenty of times, wrestling fans, that we would get very upset with the ending. Roman Reigns beating Undertaker comes to mind. Or, man, there's been plenty of others. But, that will happen, but at least at that point, you got your money's worth, where if you put in $60, you essentially paid $20 per hour of content. Or the math could be a little bit different if you include WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is $70 or $80, but they're going 7 hours at one point. Yeah, but you get more of a return of investment on in terms of entertainment.
Yeah. Unless you get the network or now Peacock, whatever, that's a different story now. But if you go and order it on a pay-per-view, you're going to pay a lot of money for it. That's the thing, I've heard about that, but
And that's actually a very valid point, referring to the network and Peacock. Or you can get something like that where you pay $10 a month to get whatever your fill is, whereas you can't really do that necessarily with boxing. Boxing, you have to pay for the event. I remember the boxing match of what was his name? Floyd Mayweather versus the guy. What was it? He was a Filipino guy, and I can't think of his name right now. I can't remember his name. Damn, what was it?
The only opponent that I know he had was Conor McGregor.
The Conor McGregor one, that was also $100. But there was another one they did where he faced Manny Pacquiao. I finally found it versus Manny Pacquiao. That fight was $100 for pay-per-view, and the fight between the two didn't even go that long.
Wow.
And he had the Conor McGregor one, which was also $100, which that didn't go long. I think